Good morning, students. This is session 1. Today's topic is about sources of medieval history, which is your first lesson in 7th standard term 1 social science book. So, before entering into the topic, let's have a recap of our previous standard portion. So, what is history? History is the study of past events in chronological order, that means in particular sequential order. The word history is derived from a Greek word called historia, which means learning by inquiry. So, history conveys really happened incidents, so it is not like a bedtime stories and all. Now, let's see the timeline. BCE means before Common Era and CE means Common Era. So, now let's see how the timeline works. So, the dates which are farther from the zero on the BCE side is considered as older event, and on the ACE side the farther dates are considered as new event. So, I hope you understand this. So, now let's move on to classification of history. So, our history are classified under the three time periods. So, first one is your ancient history, and second is your medieval history, and third is modern history. So, let's see one by one in detail. So, first one is prehistory, which is also called ancient history. So, I'm going to share some 5 points related to it. So, first point is, so prehistory marks the oldest period in the history of humanity. So, it begins with the appearance of humans and hence with the invention of writings. So, this period started 5 million years ago, that is since ages before. So, it is called prehistory because it is a time period before your history, that is before invention of writing. So, the second point is, according to the theory of evolution, the modern human evolved from certain group of primates and were able to stand upright on their legs, and their brain grew in size and made them to think on their own. So, the first human lived in Africa. So, the prehistory can be divided into Paleolithic, Neolithic, and the Age of Metals. So, let's see one by one in detail. So, first one is about your Paleolithic people. So, during the Paleolithic age, the people were nomads. Nomad means they didn't settle at one place. They keep on moving from one place to another in search of food and shelter. The major occupation was hunting and food gathering, that is food collectors. So, among their favorite foods were their wild berries, deer, bison, and mammoth. So later they began to settle in tribes, dwelling huts, and natural caves. They decorated their caves with cave paintings. So usually they represented their hunting styles in their cave paintings. So as you see in the picture. And then the major invention is your fire invention, then stone tools. So that's why your Paleolithic age is also called Whole Stone Age. So later on, the people progress to use sharpened tools. So there begins your Neolithic period, which is also called New Stone Age. So let's see more details about Neolithic period. So the fourth point is about Neolithic. So during the Neolithic times, they practiced agriculture and cattle rearing, and they started domestication of animals, and then later on they cultivated their crops. Then they stopped being nomads and they began to settle down at one particular place, and they lived in a community called village. So moreover, their population increased in number, and mainly they chose the river valley side area. Why? Because they need plenty of water to cultivate their lands and also to domesticate their animals. And the major invention during the Neolithic period is wheels. So it made transportation easier. And then other major invention is the sail, then the loom, then the plow, which helped in agriculture process, then the pottery works. So later on, the people progress to use metal tools. So there begins your age of metals. So our fifth point is about your age of metals. So the people progress to use metal tools. They found that it is more resistant than your stone tools. They used it to hunt, cultivate, and they used also in the agriculture process and farming process. So their population increased in number. The first metal used by man is copper, then bronze, then iron, and then gold. Then they improved their craftsmanship, and then transportation was improved. Thus, in turns, improved the trading system, that is barter system, exchange of goods for goods. Thus, your prehistory hence. Now let's see about Indus Valley civilization, which is one of the oldest and earliest urban civilization, which is also called Harappa civilization. So the migrants from Somalia, which is present day Iran, they entered into India and settled at Karachi near the Indus Valley. So the twin city called Harappa and Mohenjo-daro was developed, and mainly they used baked bricks or sun-dried bricks in their architecture. So one speciality is that each bricks is of uniform size. And why they use sun-dried bricks? Because it will be more durable and the buildings will be more strong. So as you see in the picture, the houses are made in a linear arrangement and it is of grid pattern. So well town planned system, and the streets are very neat, and each house has a drainage canal, and finally it will drain out into the main canal. So they maintain the best sanitation system. So that's why it is called urban settlement. So next, mainly the people settle near the river valley area. So because they need plenty of water to domesticate their animals and to cultivate their lands. So all these you would have studied in your 6th standard. So I am just recalling it. So now we can just move on to the medieval history. So medieval history means it is the time period between your ancient history and the modern history. So medieval history itself we can classify under two time intervals. So first one is your early medieval and second one is your later medieval. In early medieval you can get to know about Palas, Pratiharas, Rashtrakutas, Cholas and Rajputs, which you will study in the forthcoming lessons. And later medieval starts with the establishment of Delhi Sultan and ends with Mughal emperors. So he is Muhammad Ghori. So he was the one who started the slave dynasty in India. So he appointed Qutbuddin Aibak, his slave, as the ruler of Delhi, and he returned to Afghanistan. So after the death of Ghori, Qutbuddin Aibak became the first Delhi Sultanate. And the medieval history ends with the great Mughals like Babur, Akbar, and the last one is Aurangzeb. So now let's move on to modern India. So modern India is a time period between your advent of Europeans and independence struggle. So let's see the European powers in India. The Portuguese wanted to buy spices from India and sell them in Europe in order to make money and become rich. So with this motive, they set out the sail. They started from Portugal and then slowly they reached the Cape of Good Hope, which is the southern tip of Africa, and then they reached Mozambique, and from there they landed at Calicut, which is on the Malabar coast. So the Portuguese was led by their captain called Vasco da Gama, and they landed at Calicut in the year 1498. So Vasco da Gama met the ruler of Calicut called Zamorin, and they had a conversation. So just listen to the conversation.
What is the reason for your visit? Your Highness, I have come from Portugal and wish to buy your famous Malabar spices. I request permission to trade here. What will we gain in return? I will give you a lot of money for your spices, and once I sell them, Malabar spices will become world famous. Very well, permission granted.
So children, this incident took place many years ago. So let's see what happened next. So the Portuguese became the first European to carry Indian spices abroad and sell them, and they became very rich. So on seeing the Portuguese, other European countries also entered into India for trading purpose. So other Europeans like Dutch from Holland, Danes from Denmark and French from France landed in India for trading. So as you see in the picture. So meanwhile in England, some traders formed a company called East India Company. said in 1600 the East India Company was given the charter of trade by their queen. So on getting the charter of trade, the ships of East India Company landed in India to trade in spices, cotton and sugar. So the British entered into India in 1600. So Mughal Emperor Jahangir was the ruler when the British first came to India. So the British captain, he visited Jahangir's court and he asked permission to set up a factory at Surat. So on getting the permission, the British set up a warehouse called factory in Surat to store their goods. So but there were constant fights and wars between the British and the other European powers. So then the Danish, the Dutch and the Portuguese lost to the British and they were left with just a few settlements in India. So you can see in the map the settlement places. So the French and the British fought three bitter wars. So these wars are called Carnatic Wars from 1746 to 1753. At the end of the war, the French left with Pondicherry and Chandanagar, so the British began to rule the nation. So I hope you got an idea about our Indian history. So now we can get into our lesson. So our lesson starts with a quote of Kafi Khan, who is a courtier of Emperor Aurangzeb. So he told about the qualification of an historian. An historian means a person who writes the history. So he must create a balanced report. He should not show any partiality. He should not see whether they are a friend or a stranger. So he should give a sincere report. So let's see what he had told. So it is the duty of an historian to be faithful, to have no hope of profit, no fear of injury, to show no partiality on one side or animosity. Animosity means enmity on the other. And to know no difference between a friend or a stranger, and to write nothing but with sincerity. So historian must give a sincere report. So let's see the types of sources. So before entering into the types, first we need to understand what is a source. A source is something like a evidence which is collected by the historian, as I told, collected by the person who writes the history with great efforts. We have two types, primary and secondary. So now let's see the primary source. So primary source are the raw materials like your stone inscriptions, palm leaf inscriptions, copper plate inscriptions, so coins. So these are some famous monuments of India. So monuments provides the architectural style of the rulers during their region. Now let's see the secondary source. So secondary source are some written works like literary works like Ramayana and Mahabharata. So these books provides a valuable rich information. Next is a travelogue. So travelogue means a book written by a traveler. So for example, if a foreign traveler visited India means he will write all his experience, the cultures practiced in the society, the geographical features of the country. So everything will be mentioned in the book. So also the trading policies. So that book is called a travelogue. So let's see about the biographies and autobiographies. So you need to know the difference between these two. So biography means if someone writes about the other's achievement, it is called biography. Autobiography means if they write it on their own. For example, Abdul Kalam's autobiography is A Wings of Fire. So I hope you understand this session. So next I want to show some textbook pages which are related to this session. So have a look at it. So this is your unit name, Sources of Medieval History. And this is your first page. And this is the introduction part which I took, the classification of medieval history. And this is the quote of Kafi Khan which I explained you. And this is classification of source, primary and secondary. And these are the examples which I showed a pictorial representation. So now it's time for questions. So once again you can go through this session and you can answer these evaluation questions. So first one is define history, expand BCE and ACE, how the Indian history is classified, Define source. What are the types of source? Who is the courtier of Emperor Aurangzeb? Give some examples for primary and secondary source. What is a travelogue? Difference between a biography and autobiography. So, which is the oldest urban civilization? What are the major occupation of prehistoric people? Which European arrived first into India for trading? What are the types of inscription? Give some examples for literary works. According to Kafi Khan, what are the qualification of an historian? What do you mean by primary and secondary source? Indus Valley civilization is also known as Indus Valley civilization is well known for its and what is the importance of a source in history? Who started slave dynasty? Who was the first Delhi Sultanate and define prehistory? So children, answer all these questions in a notebook. So if any doubt, you can go through the session once again. So I hope you understand this session. I will explain the sources in detail in our next session.